This house has an HOA? I stuttered. The real estate agent nodded. No, I'd heard the horror stories. Fines for walking your dog. Fines for the wrong color curtains. Fines for obscenely shaped stains in your driveway. A homeowners association was just about the worst thing a house could have. Do you have a copy of the HOA agreement? The real estate agent avoided eye contact. Well, how do you like the house? She asked, trying to change the subject. Fine, but I'd like to read the HOA agreement, please. After rooting through some drawers, she pulled out a thick stack of papers. Here you go. With a heavy heart, I began to read. Pelican Peak Homeowners Association Rules. Rule number 1. Your garage must be kept closed at all times unless you are currently entering or exiting the house. Rule number 2. The community has a strict curfew of 10 p.m. You may not make any noise between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. And you must also keep all the curtains closed during this time. Rule number 3. Food scraps cannot be mixed with regular trash. We have a compost bin. Discard food scraps in the red plastic bin provided to you, and leave it on the curb on evenings shortly before curfew time. We will pick it up and bring it to the compost bin. Do not attempt to bring it to the compost bin yourself. Rule number 4. You must always wear neutral colored clothing when exiting or entering your home, and when walking around the development. And that right there is where I raised an eyebrow. Neutral colored clothing? What the fuck is going on here? I looked down at my outfit, aqua blue jeans and a hot pink fluttery top. What is this? Some kind of dystopian nightmare? Making us conform to all look the same in these cookie-cutter townhouses? So, I probably wouldn't be allowed to wear this outfit then, huh? I asked the real estate agent. She hemmed and hawed. I don't think so. Probably not. But you can just get one of those long duster cardigans or a jacket in a neutral color and wear it when you go out. It's not a super strict rule. You can have some color. Not a super strict rule, I repeated, pointedly nodding in her direction. I see. I continued to read. Rule number 5. Never knock on a neighbor's door unannounced. Similarly, never answer the door if you aren't expecting anyone. As a community, Pelican Peak values privacy and safety above all else. Rule number 6. When walking your dog, keep him or her away from the cul-de-sac on Petunia Lane. The compost bin is back there, and sometimes animals are triggered by the smell. Rule number 7. Never leave children that weigh under 50 pounds playing unattended outside. Rule number 8. The homeowner dues are $150 a month, due on the first weekday of every month. I stared at the sheet. This is pretty restrictive. But look at what you're getting for the price, she said. Granite countertops and mahogany cabinets, stainless steel appliances, a rain shower in the master bathroom, all for under $200,000. I did love rain showers. She was right about that. I decided to make an offer the next week, and several weeks later, I was moving in, along with several new black cardigans and jackets. My corgi, Buff, seemed to like the place well enough as well. She liked watching the squirrels run by, something she couldn't do from the window of my 11th floor apartment. The first night, I followed the rules to a T. At 9:47 p.m., I put my food scraps out. Chicken bones, kale stems, and an apple core. At 9:58 p.m., I locked all the doors, drew the curtains, turned down the radio, and settled into bed. I wasn't going to sleep, of course. It was time for my 3-hour Seinfeld marathon before bed. Around 10:15 p.m., though, Buff started growling. I moaned, paused the episode, and walked into the second bedroom. Buff, shh, I hissed, remembering the association rule. She didn't even turn around. She just sat at the window, her head poking around the curtain, hackles raised, staring out into the darkness, growling like mad. Buff? My fingers fell on the curtain's edge, but then I stopped. Keep curtains closed after 10 p.m. That was the rule. But does that mean I'm never allowed to take a peek? And what if it's some crazy guy sitting on my porch or something? Or a rabid squirrel? I pulled back the curtain. At first I just saw darkness. Amorphous blobs of townhouses stuck to each other, speckled with blocks of hazy golden light. Everyone had their curtains drawn. The street was empty. No cars, no people, no squirrels. Wait a minute. The street wasn't empty. A tall figure stood on the sidewalk, right in front of my house. The light from my window barely illuminated his form, but I could still make it out. He then picked up my red plastic bin. But there was no garbage truck, or wheelbarrow, or anything else around it to dump it in. Where's he going to dump it? I thought. Is he just going to carry the bins one by one to the compost? That's really inefficient. Then he hoisted the bin up. His mouth stretched open, far wider than I've seen any mouth open. Then he poured the contents into his mouth. A light cracking sound emerged from the darkness as he chewed up the bones. I stared horrified, and Buff did too. And then she began to bark. The thing froze. Shh, I said, patting Buff's head. Please be quiet. But Buff barked again. The figure then snapped around and ran towards the window at full speed. I saw a flash of a gray, wrinkled face, with hollow black pits for eyes. A gaping mouth with somehow no teeth or tongue. I let the curtain fall. I backed away, hugging Buff, and my heart was pounding in my chest. What the fuck were we doing here? Why did I buy this house? And that's when the knocking started. And I remembered perhaps the most important rule of them all. Never answer the door if you aren't expecting anyone.